Hey, this is Malachi the Artist One. Man, it's a sad day today. My favorite drummer, that's Neil Peart. He just passed away, I think earlier this week or something, but they're just releasing the fact. And he was the reason why I became a drummer, really. I mean, I always wanted to be a drummer. And that's an internal thing, I think, that some of us have, that we have to just be that. But, it was, Rush's music that, I'll show you a couple pictures that really made me think that drums were going to be, that could be a huge part of a band, right? So my first remembrance of him or the music was A Farewell to Kings, because my uncle had brought that album over, and I loved that album. That was such an epic album. And then when I was able to afford, and I didn't even have a drum kit then, so I didn't even have drums when I heard Farewell to Kings. It was shortly thereafter I got a set of practice pads, and then a few years later I got a real set of drums, which I'll show you right here. And yeah, they look like Neil Peart's, right? There. I don't know if you can see that there's a shadow, but this, the rototoms. And I even painted them black. They were normally, it was a Gretsch kit, and they were like a pearl, and dumbest thing I could ever do. But as a kid, what was I thinking? I painted them black because, this kit was black. See, this is the Hemispheres tour. Actually, this was the Farewell to Kings tour going because of Alex Lifeson's hairstyle. But it could have been the Hemispheres, but those albums are done really close. But then later on, I painted my drums red because he had painted his drums red. So I was a Rush fan. I was a Rush fan when nobody else was. I made fun of the school, and all you Rush people, you know how it was when we were growing up. Rush wasn't cool, It was all these other stupid bands that wrote stupid music, about partying all the time. These guys wrote stuff that had some depth and meaning. So here's and when you see this other kit, which is still the same kit I have to this day, except along the way I've lost parts and pieces, and I don't know what's happened, but I guess things happen. You don't realize that they're gone till you miss that they're gone. But anyways, here's my old kit. I don't know if you can see that either. See, I got a whole electronic kit. It's kind of like what he did with electronic kit. I had everything. 4 upper toms, the 3 main toms, and then the floor tom and a gong bass drum. So I was a Neil Peart freak. I knew all the songs, could play. I really can't play the songs anymore because my style is so different. I go back into this kind of fusion type jazz thing. But when he started playing with a traditional grip instead of a match grip, that's kind of like, it was like, okay, cool, now it was almost like, it was changing. I felt like I was cool because that's how I was playing anyways. I didn't always play, I play match grip, I play traditional, I break it up all the time. But kit-wise, when I was a kid even though I had the kit that looked like his, I had my ride set up at just a different position because I like to do that. I always work a lot on my ride. But I did an album which was 20 years ago this month. I put it out 20 years ago on the 1st in 1/1 of 2000. And I remember I had Ty Tabor of King's X remaster some stuff for me. And he writes me back and he says, "You must really love the Hemispheres album. This sounded a lot like Hemispheres album." And I thought, cool. That wasn't my goal, but cool. I wish it sounded like Hemispheres. No, not at all. I'm not that great a player. But it had the open chord type stuff with the guitar thing. Which, in reality, because I was such a Rush fan in my early years, and couldn't find guys that wanted to play that kind of music, that I ended up becoming and playing everything myself. So, you know, my bass, could never find a decent bass player, so I became a bass player. I could never find a guitarist that would show up for events because I was so hardcore music. That's why I still do music today. I'm 51 years old. I took 12 years off because I got married and all that kind of stuff. And but music is in my soul. It's my therapy, you know. So I do it. But I also do the kind of music that has meaning. And I always felt that, you know, Rush's music had aspects of meaning, even though he was an atheist. You know, I don't know how he's going to feel about that, but you know what? I have hope for everybody. I'm not one of these people know I'm a religious man, but they also know. I hope that you know that I'm not a person who. I believe everybody has a secret side to them. I believe everybody has a time where they're alone in their prayer closet, so to speak. They're alone within themselves, and they are, you know, dealing with whatever mindset they have. And we all go through times where we feel that no one truly understands us, you know, but God does. And I hope that maybe he found peace with that, or I don't know. You never know, because some people can feel that, and then they turn around, and because of certain things that happen in their lives, they once they get out of their closet, once they open the door to the real world, they totally shut down, and then they become what they think everybody else should make them out to be. And you know, in my life, I met a lot of people. I never met Neil personally, but we wrote back and forth a couple times. I had his phone number. So, you know, he was always responsive. He was a nice guy, you know. I talked to him about coffee. We were talking about coffee. I talked to him back in the day when I was dealing with Henry Hill and doing coffee with him. And I think he said something about that. I can't remember. I'd have to go see if I can find our correspondence, if I still have them. But anyways, so I was in the coffee, I was in the music, because I became a Rush fan. Obviously I became a drummer, then I became a musician, then I, you know, started working with these people, and then these people led to these people, and then led to these people, and then ended up leading back to being able to actually have a phone conversation with a drummer that I thought was great. And so anyways, rest in peace, buddy. Maybe, you know, I guess here's the thing. I'm going to say this to people. Now he's with his wife, his first wife, and his daughter. And that's the way it should be. So we'll see you again someday. He left us with some great music and some great lyrics, even though most of your lyrics were non-friendly to Christians. I know you always had an issue with that. Anyways, it's a sad day. It's a sad day. The guy was a freaking monster, and he played hard. You know, as a drummer, I'm going to tell you, it's not easy to play his stuff. You have to be on the ball all the time. And not only with that, the style in which he played was always hard-hitting. And that's not easy. You know, when you're playing a show and you're dealing with all the issues of a show that always happen, and then you have this aspect of a powerhouse energy, you know, it's more difficult than people really think. True drummers know exactly what I'm saying. Sometimes, like I do jazz fusion stuff with people. I did a show the other day, and they were doing a lot of jazzy stuff. And a guy came up to me after the show. He goes, "Man, I love your work," and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, I told him, I said, you really know that I didn't have any monitors. He said, "Oh, I didn't know that." I said, "Here's the reason." I told him, I said, "You know, jazz is sometimes a little easier," because he's heard me play rock, and he's heard me play prog rock, and he's heard me all this stuff. But I told him, I says, "You know, jazz is sometimes a little more easier than you think, because it's the technique is light, and so it's somewhat free floating, and you can blend in with the music a little bit easier sometimes than you can when you need to hit hard, boom, boom, and you need to boom. I mean, you have to hit all your marks, and you got to hit them hard, and everything has to ring out true. You can't hit. If you're doing a run, and you're going that kind of thing, like Tom Sawyer, that thing, you got to hit all those notes, because if you go and then kind of dip down and sound like boom, I mean, it sounds weird, right? So you really have to be on your game all the time. And every time I saw these guys in concert, man, they're freaking on their game so good. And that, I think they were a band. They were like one of those bands that brought up the. They raised the bar. They raised the bar so that you would take the music seriously, you take the performance seriously, and you take the show seriously. And so, anyways, sad day. God bless you, buddy, and your family. I know you had a new wife. And it's not like I knew you, so it's like, I'm just some dude that was listening to the music for years, and it was I always loved playing to it. It's always a challenge to play to your songs, and there are very few drummers out there that I like listening to musically that also challenge me. So that was a cool thing. Anyways, rest in peace, buddy. Sorry about that, my phone died. Anyways, rest in peace, okay? Rest in peace, old Mr. Neil. Okay? And, I don't know, you're gonna find out who Christ really is here pretty soon. Or you already did. You never know, he may have given you a big hug. We don't know. We never know. Anyways, this is the end. I need to end this. Anyways, and to everybody, like I always say, hug your kids, call your parents, go see a neighbor, repent and be baptized, because you never know when you're going to go. I wasn't hearing anything about his health. But anyways, he had brain cancer. Oh, wow. Sad. Anyways, guys, repent and be baptized, please. Get right with God. Get right with God always, first and foremost in your life. And then once you do that, then play. Do what you want. Do what eases your soul. God will rest your soul, but we need things to express our soul to people. And anyways, guys, have a good one. Bye.